And we're talking with Lewis Flyer women's lacrosse coach Kirk Lamitie. Kirk, first off, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hard to believe. It seems like just yesterday that you were starting here, starting to build a team, and now you're less than 2 weeks away from your first game.
Yeah, it's been a long 15 months, but a lot of the hard work that we've been putting in is finally starting to pay off, and I know the kids are excited to get on the field and really show our community what we've been working hard for.
Now, this is your second time starting a program. You started the program at Illinois Tech and turned them into contenders in 40 years. What are some of the things, some of the experiences that you can take from that you can bring in to this program?
I think your first year, one of the biggest things that you look at is your numbers. Trying to put together a competitive team with the amount of kids that you have on your first year team. Really balancing what you look like long term as far as numbers. So being in that position before of having a small group of kids and really teaching them how to play with that small group and how to motivate themselves and be a real team players has been a big aspect of what we've been doing this year. Culture is a big thing that we talk about. This first year is all about building a culture of what we want and what we see for success in the long term. So these athletes coming in this year, we've been really working on what it's like to be a teammate and stuff like that, and then that builds for us for the future. And I think at Illinois Tech, it taught me a lot about what our culture needs to be with these teams in the first few years, and how to be successful long term while still focusing on being successful this year.
Talk about some of your expectations for this year's team.
My biggest things this year, besides the culture aspect of it, what we put on the field and the product that we put on the field is something that's going to compete with the other first-year teams. You look at some of the teams that have been around a long time in the conference, and they've had success quickly. I look to build like them, but this year's really making sure that we compete well against the Maryville, Ashland, Upper Iowa was a team that we look forward to competing against this year. But those were the teams that we really look forward to, seeing what we can do against them, and then hopefully surprising some of the teams that have been around a lot longer in our conference.
You talked a little bit about the GLIAC conference. Outside of some of the first-year programs that you mentioned, what do you know about the rest of the conference?
I think that it's been exciting to see the growth. We're really looking at how well UIndy has done in the past. They've been around 4 years, I think, and seeing their growth of going from a brand new program to winning the conference last year, I think has really set the tone of what we can do. I'm really excited that we were able to bring in Erica McKenzie as my GA. She was at UIndy as part of that growth, so her experience is really helping us right now, and we'll build for the future. Really looking forward to playing the Grand Valleys and the McHenrys, and then also looking to have some good competitions against Northern Michigan and Concordia St. Paul.
Let's take a look at your team. Obviously, you've got a lot of freshmen. You have some transfers. Who would you say are you looking at as maybe kind of your leaders, or expecting big things from this year?
Yeah, so we brought in a transfer, Mackenzie Turner. She's a local girl who came back. She's tore ACL last year, but looking for her to really be a big impact on our offense. We have Allison Gines out of Southern California. She's been a big part of what's going to make us successful on offense. Looking at Madeline Scherf from Wisconsin. She's a captain this year. She's a freshman. Really setting the tone what we need to be on defense. She's transitioning to be an offensive player, and just her skill has just grown so much over the past few months. It's been really exciting to see. Our goalies, we have a freshman goalie as well as a transfer goalie that are battling for starting position right now, and it's going to be exciting to see what they do in the next few weeks.
All right, Kirk, thanks for the time today, and good luck this year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.